Just about ready for the opening tip here from NC State. Our officials tonight, Roger Ayers, Bert Smith, and Clarence Armstrong.
And this is going to be an interesting matchup. Sidney Curry for Louisville, 6'8", 270. We talked about Burns, 6'9", 275. Don't often have two guys that big going against one another in the post. This is a guards game anymore. Louisville starts in the man-to-man.
Terquavion Smith. He's had a special season, 0 for NC State, averaging over 18 points a game. They get it into Burns right from the start. And he's done a lot of that so far this season.
Nice soft touch, but you see Burns. Smith tries to get that one, but knocks it out of bounds. Burns, he had a chance to go right to the basket, but he waited and he looks for his teammates. And again, he's got that little spin moves, and he's got some conditioning issues at 275. He can't play, he can't sprint up and down for 5 or 6 minutes at a time, but when he's in there, he's really good.
You just saw the starting five for the Cardinals. The key man, number 3, just set the screen and now has the ball. Ellis, a little bit of a homecoming for him from Durham, North Carolina.
He's been a do-everything guy for Louisville.
They work it into Sidney Curry in the post. Curry with a wild runner, not there. Rebound by Jack Clark. Here's your starting five for the Wolfpack tonight.
That was good defense by Burns that time.
Clark swings it to the corner. It's Morsell for 3.
I mean, you can count that one. When Morsell has that much time and distance, particularly from the corner, he is going to miss very few of them, and he's a very high percentage three-point shooter anyway.
Danny's shooting 47% from three-point range this season. The senior from Fort Washington, Maryland, makes it 5-0 NC State. And Kevin Keats in his 6th season now. And like you said at the top of the broadcast, 0-2 to start in conference play, but it's so deceiving the way this group has played. They've been right in every single game. I think a very dangerous team as you get into conference play here.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about it. I mean, they feel like they had a chance to steal one at Miami, and that would have been a great win, but they didn't get it. And then they didn't feel like they played very well against Pitt, but Pitt is a much improved team.
Here's James for 3. Offensive rebound and easy bucket for Brandon Huntley-Hatfield to get Louisville in the scoring column tonight.
That's going to frustrate Kevin Keats a little bit. Really good defensive job. Forced a very tough shot, but couldn't get the rebound.
How about the combination here of Smith and Joiner? As you were saying before we came on the air, and how those two have to have solid games together. Driving in is Morsell, got a shot blocked.
You see Louisville coming out and trying to trap Joiner and Smith, make them give up the ball, make somebody else handle it.
Here's Curry, powers his way inside for the Cardinals.
So far, we've seen both teams go inside to their big guys.
Now, you talked about it, how important that matchup's going to be here tonight. DJ Burns and Sid Curry for Louisville. Here's a long 3 in the way. Clark not there, and rebounded by Brandon Huntley-Hatfield.
Now, Louisville's not looking to push necessarily in a racehorse style, but they'd like to get it down and get it something going before the defense can get set.
First foul of the night on Casey Morsell as you look at Kenny Payne taking over. And when we talked to him, the Louisville graduate from back in 2003 just means a little bit more, right? He's here for the long haul, trying to build this program back up to what he remembered when he was here and the success they've had over the years. And it's going to take a little bit of time. It's
going to take a little bit of time, but they have great facilities at Louisville, and he's got a solid coaching staff. And now that the cloud of potential NCAA tournament ban has been lifted, then they're going to have a little bit more success. I'm confident in their recruiting.
Got one of the greats in Danny Manning on the sideline with Nolan Smith and Josh Jamison, the staff we're talking about for Louisville.
And here's Louisville showing some pressure. And what they're trying to do there is just run a little bit of time off that shot clock.
Curry with 1 of 2 at the line for the Cardinals has tied the game, and now a block inside by Mike James on the drive from Smith.
Well, James is a very hard worker. He's a really competitive guy, and they're thinking that he can stay in front of Terquavion Smith. Not all the time, but he did that time. And I think Roger Ayers just said, just play ball, let's not be talking.
Back into Smith. Jumper. No. Rebound Withers. Jalen Withers. And here's Ellis to set things up. That's when they've kind of gotten a little bit of a danger zone there, Dan, right? Kind of jumping in midair and not knowing sometimes where they want to go with the ball. Here's a step out on the sideline, but we've seen that a lot this year from Ellis.
Well, Ellis is trying to do an awful lot of things, and there's a big load on his shoulders. Here's what we're talking about. NC State's defense has forced almost 15 turnovers a game, almost 10 of them steals, and Louisville's a team that struggles turning the ball over. Fortunate on that occasion that NC State did not get an opportunity for a run out.
Last game for Louisville, they actually had the fewest turnovers of the season with 10 in a 75-67 loss to Lipscomb. Here's Burns, kicks it to the corner. Clark. Oh, wow. Clark, no. Burns rejected again inside. Second block of the night for James.
That's really good recovery by Louisville, because Burns, that's what he wants to do. He gets the ball down there. They basically clear the side for him, and if somebody comes to help, he's a very good passer.
Ellis directing traffic here. 4 minutes gone by. He bombs up a three, and he's got it. And Louisville has the lead 8-5, and they're on an 8-0 run after trailing 5-0 to start. On
that high screen, particularly when Burns is the guy who's got to help, Ellis is going to have an opening.
Jarkel Joiner for NC State. Almost a steal. Smith puts up a three. A little short, rebounded by Curry.
Now, Smith is a guy, he can miss a couple, Mike, but I'm telling you, he can make 8 in a row.
Oh, yes. Ellis, bumped by Burns, and is fouled. And it takes us to our first timeout of the night. So Louisville's on top 8-5. Dan, you and I were down at Florida State in the Louisville loss to the Seminoles 75-53. But since then, they've come on now a little bit. Thanks a lot to this guy.
Well, Ellis, he's their do-everything guy. Leads them in scoring, leads them in assists. And that 30 points and 10 assists, that's the first time anybody from Louisville's done that since Reese Gaines did it 20 years ago.
And there's his mom, Tasha, and brother Manny in the house here tonight. 20 family and friends here to watch Ellis, who's from Durham, North Carolina. Went to Tallahassee Community College. He's coming off that 24-point effort the other night. So those are the numbers over the last 3 games after that Florida State loss, in which Louisville's now won 2 of the last 3.
Well, Ellis is a very quick player, obviously. He can get himself into the lane. He can make a 3-point shot. He can create for other people, but there's a big load on him trying to score. Louisville struggles to score. He's got 4 points in the game now.
Well, he played all 40 minutes in the last game, too. They need him out there. 9-5, Cardinals on top.
And Wolfpack have missed their last 7 shots.
And a steal. And that's a travel. Yeah, it's a good call there by Bird Smith. He was all over it.
Now, see, that's a turnover, but it's not a turnover that really hurts Louisville in terms of giving up an easy opportunity. It hurts them in terms of losing a possession, and they need all the possessions they can get.
Well, that's right. I mean, that could potentially be a big swing there. You know, you got one. You got a steal, you know, which has been tough sledding for them. Usually they are the one turning it over, so.
And Terquavion Smith comes off a screen right here. He's double-teamed.
Knocked away again. Stolen by Brandon Huntley-Hatfield coming from behind. Withers takes it strong. And Clark's got the rebound.
Now, this is where NC State, if they get an outlet, they like to go.
Nice jumper from Jarkel Joiner.
Now, that's the way they want to play. They're not going to go every single time, but if they can get a good outlet or a steal, they can get up the court as quickly as anybody in this league.
Trainer on the jumper, J.J. Trainer. Tracked out by Clark and got to Joiner. That's what you told me earlier tonight before we came on. It's somewhat of a misconception that that's all they want to do is run and gun. Not all the time. NC State, another nice block inside. That's the 3rd block tonight. That's the first by Ellis.
Well, and the interesting thing there is that North Carolina State, they want to attack. And so you see Joiner and Smith driving the ball hard. He actually lost his balance, didn't really get the lift that he was looking for. Burns has gone out, and so has Clark.
Ernest Ross is in the first time tonight. And Ebenezer Duwana.
Well, neither Ross nor Joiner are the kind of offensive players that guys just went out of the game. And there's Smith missing another one. Ooh, that's some catch. Just dropped it, though. He tried to dribble it and let it go.
That was Withers down there that time. Joiner kicks it to the corner, wide open, a three, in and out that time from Ross. Offensive rebound, Morsell. We've had some chances here.
Well, I think you can live with Ross shooting that three.
0 for 9 now on the season, to your point.
Both teams have been in the man-to-man. Louisville, as is trying to double-team Smith when he's coming off the screen.
It's a nice crossover from Withers. Stays with it, blocked inside. Nice job there by Duwana, and it's going to be Wolfpack possession.
Well, again, Louisville getting to the offensive boards. They're not noted for their ability to rebound the ball offensively. You know, on the season, they are a minus 20, minus 17 really coming in for offensive rebounds, but they've done a nice job being aggressive today.
They've only out-rebounded 4 of their opponents all season, and 3 of those 4 were in the first 3 games of the year.
But it's hard to have a lot of really good numbers in that vein when your record's 2-10. But that doesn't mean they're not capable.
Foul line jumper. And Duwana, but it's tracked out again by Morsell.
See, that's a rebound you have to have. Duwana's a guy who's not a jump shooter, so it's a nice job to force him to shoot the jump shot.
Smith is hacked from behind by Withers.
Oh, now what's going on? That's a hard foul, but we'll see if they're going to do anything about that.
Yeah, Clarence Armstrong kind of got right in there. One of our officials in the middle said, no, 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 guys. And it's a hard foul by Withers. And Smith just kind of trying to push him off, and then...
Wait, Smith handed him the ball.
Right.
Withers handed it right back. Okay, all right, so the officials called a double technical, one on Terquavion Smith and the other on Withers. All right, and this is a new rule this year. They're going to shoot the common foul, and with the double technicals, there's not going to be any shots there.
So one more here for Smith. Next Friday afternoon, college basketball triple header beginning with this game, Pittsburgh and North Carolina. Starts at noon Eastern, Friday, December 30th, right here on the ACC Network and on the ESPN app. Pittsburgh with the win on Tuesday at Syracuse. I was there for that one. And then North Carolina has now won 4 in a row.
But North Carolina, they've recovered after losing 4 in a row. But I'm telling you, the Pitt Panthers are one of the surprise teams in the ACC. They have had a solid non-conference season, you know, much better than they've been having recently. They've got guys who can score. They're an interesting looking team.
Driving to the hole is Kamari Lands, and he scores it for Louisville. They lead it 11-8.
Lands, he does not have any problems on the offensive end. He struggles sometimes on the defensive end of the court, but you've got to get in front of him because he'll go all the way.
Duwana, nice little hook.
Again, they're not looking for a lot of offense from Duwana, but they would much rather see him in there. You know, that's only his 8th shot of the season. Ellis
Slashes through, trying a little alley-oop there to Roosevelt Wheeler.
But you shoot that one. And if you miss it, your big guy is there in position for the rebound. But I think he confused Wheeler with that shot. And there's 0 for 10 now for the year for Ross, shooting threes. Maybe he should stop it.
Ellis, wild one, just inside three-point land, doesn't go. It's tracked down by NC State and Ross. There's Joiner again. Foul though, not there from Joiner.
NC State has shot the ball very poorly, but they only trail by 1.
That's the thing. 4 of 19 from the field so far. Louisville is 4 for 11. And we've got a timeout. 11-11 to go in this first half. 1-point game in this ACC. Back here at NC State, Louisville just completed the Week of Giving with their 12th annual Kyle's Corner toy drive, led by former Cardinal star Kyle Kuric. They had a food drive as well, winter clothes drive. They spanned that out over 3 home games. And the toy drive, great to see. Collection in association with Kyle's Corner for Kids, who's a former Cardinal, now playing overseas.
That's great that the basketball players get involved in that, get involved in community activities, particularly at this time of the year.
Cardinals by 1. 9 minutes gone by here in the first half. Shot clock down to 4. 3 ball on the way, count it for Louisville and Hersey Miller.
Well, Miller's a guy who hasn't played a lot recently. You know, he was the backup point guard early in the year, and that's only his 3rd 3-point made on the season.
Burns down the lane for the bucket.
You know, most balls shot like that would bounce off, but that one sort of hit the rim and died and then trickled in. He's got a really nice touch.
Yeah, he's been getting the bounces this year, though, hasn't he? Here's a foul. High. Going to be on Jarkel Joiner. His first. Had a good start early, and what's been going on here? 3 of 18 since 2 for 2.
Right, and that 3 of 18 looks a lot better because it was 2 of 17. Burns just made that basket. The game is very difficult when the ball's not going in the goal, and it's not going in the goal for North Carolina State. Part of it has to do with the Louisville defense, though.
Louisville's got 4 blocks in this game. Here's a steal. L.J. Thomas that gets it inside for Smith.
And that's the kind of turnover that's been killing Louisville. Those are the things that Tom Izzo refers to as turnovers for touchdowns.
Yep, that's what we're talking about right there, and that's been tough for them. They've averaged 14.8 a game, as you see. Last game they had 10. That was the fewest. Every other game, 13 or more. Halfway through the first half, we're tied at 14.
Pack trying to pick up the defensive pressure.
Shot clock again down to 3. Another 3, and that goes in again. Kamari Lands drains it this time.
Now Lands, we're talking about Ross for North Carolina State not being a very good 3-point shooter, but Lands, he is a high volume guy. He's not a very high percentage, but that was a really nice job by him stepping inside away from that pressure.
There's a long 3 from Clark on the other end. That doesn't go, and it's tapped out to Mike James.
Now, long 3s early in the shot clock. I think Joiner and Smith have to be taking those. Otherwise, I think they'll be looking inside.
Brandon Huntley-Hatfield over Clark off the window. 5-point Louisville lead. It's their largest so far here in the first half.
Huntley-Hatfield, 6'10", 6'11". He's got a couple of inches on Clark on the inside. That's a nice job to get the ball in the low post.
Here's Burns again, battling inside, and the left-hander scores it again.
You're afraid to go trap him. He's got 6 points now because he's such a good passer.
Averages 8.8 a game. Shooting 55% from the field. So far, 3 of 4 tonight. Here's Miller. Again, shot clock is winding down. They've hit a lot. The last 2 late 3-pointers. Can they do it again? Lands. Clark with a good box out, but it's off of Thomas, out of bounds. It's going to stay with Louisville. And we got a little gift for you on Christmas morning, starting at 7 a.m. Eastern, holiday special, all ACC, right here on the ACC network. Runs every hour through 2 o'clock. Coming up on Sunday at 7 a.m. Eastern. Lands for Curry. Nice.
Again, Burns went to help out defensively, and he just couldn't get back to Curry quick enough. And nobody else got there.
Seeing good energy here, good teamwork by Louisville, and a good start for them.
They're playing very hard.
Smith slashes through, blocked and fouled by Curry underneath. That'll be his first foul of the game. It takes us to a timeout. Cardinals off to a great start here. They lead it by 5 in a row. 7:48 remaining first half. Back in a moment.
Auto owners, insures your car. Because sometimes.
Mike Horry and Dan Bonner back with you here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Telltale numbers here for Louisville with their record at 2-10. There's your wins, there's your losses, and you can see why.
Well, and the turnover numbers aren't up there, but the turnovers haven't really hurt them badly today. But the shooting does. When you make baskets, it really helps you. They're shooting 60% from beyond the arc in the game so far today, and that has been a big factor.
3 of 5 from three-point range, as you said, 50% overall. We're tracking this here tonight with the turnovers 5. They've had 3 runouts, NC State, off of those 5 turnovers, but it's led to only 2 points. That was one of your keys. And how about the rebounding as well? 15-10 in favor of the Cardinals here.
And Louisville is a team that's not a great rebounding team, but they already have 4 second-chance points tonight. So as you said, going to break, Mike, a really good start here for Louisville.
Well, and that's what they need, because obviously they're not a team that's built to be able to come back a lot from these 15, 20-point deficits, which they kind of faced a lot so far this season.
That's a confidence thing, too. You play well, the ball goes in the basket, everybody plays harder, they tighten it up on the defensive end.
Brandon Huntley-Hatfield looking for the cutter. It's Lands. It's a nice feed, and Lands, no foul. Curry's got the offensive rebound. Oh, offensive.
Well, again, you get a second chance opportunity here. Burns goes for the block, so he's not available to block out. And it's called an offensive foul. On a rebound,
yeah.
But on that rebound, there isn't considered to be a secondary defender.
Well, and this is big for Louisville because
Curry. So he was in the restricted area, but he wasn't a secondary defender.
Now Curry's got 2 fouls for Louisville, and Withers has 2 fouls. So big right there. It's Burns. That hook is working once again here tonight. Already at his average almost with 8.8 points a game. He's got 8 so far here in this one.
Yeah, but since he's played more with Mahorchitz being out with an injury, his numbers have been much higher than that.
Yep.
So he's been getting about 14, 16 points a game since he's become a regular.
You're right. Last game he had 18. Here's Ellis on the drive, not there. And Joiner gets it up from Morsell, who launches a 3. Got it.
That was an interesting fast break because Morsell had to wait for the ball.
And NC State has the lead, 22-21.
Well, now, if you're Louisville here, you just have to be calm about things and run your stuff and attack the basket.
First lead since.
But the shot clock's running down again.
It's happened multiple times here tonight. Here's the Landis pulls back. No. Burns.
It took them too long to get into their stuff that time.
Yeah, it was Joiner and Burns who kind of came down with it together. Here's Morsell for 3 again. Look out. You said it about Morsell, Dan. He's 3 for 3 from three-point range.
If he's got time, and he had time that time, he is deadly, playing as well as he has in his college career. 4-point lead for the Pack.
When this guy gets going, Dan, look out, right? 3 for 3, 9 points already here for the Pack.
A lot of this has to do with extra opportunity, more opportunity this year, but he worked hard in the offseason. He really prepared himself for this. Even though it's early, leading the ACC in three-point field goal percentage is an accomplishment. And he continues to be a very good defender. And they've needed his three-point shooting tonight because neither Smith nor Joiner have really gotten untracked yet.
Smith's got 4 points. Joiner's got 2. You're right. It's been Morsell and Burns. 9 and 8 respectively. 25-21 NC State. Crucial point here this first half, really, if you're Louisville, right? They were up 21 to 15. It's a 10-0 run.
And that token pressure by North Carolina State has forced some time off the clock. There's 7 seconds left on the shot clock, and the ball's at half court.
This is like the 6th time that the shot clock has gone down inside of 3, and they've had to put something up. And that time it was Brandon Huntley-Hatfield who misses.
Well, it's really hard to run your offense when you start with 7 seconds.
Burns feed it to Joiner. It's knocked out. Stays with the Wolfpack.
I said Burns is a willing passer, but he's also an adventurous passer. There are some times where he tries to squeeze it in places where there's not very much room.
Big South Player of the Year last year at Winthrop. Out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Smith with the Burns screen in front for some space, misses. Rebound by Huntley-Hatfield.
And, you know, with Smith, those are the kind of shots he makes. So you don't mind that one.
He's 1 for 6 so far tonight. Ellis back up for James. And that's another travel.
Well, right at the moment, you're not getting a lot of player movement by Louisville. There's a lot of drives to the basket, but the person who's driving is the only person moving for the Cards.
6 turnovers, but only 2 points off of those 6 turnovers by NC State. Cardinals hanging right in here. Down 4, though.
Again, it's a big last 4 minutes of the half.
It is.
For Louisville.
Joiner. No. Got his hand on the offensive rebound.
He's got to figure out how to get out of there.
He does. Burns, double team comes down on him quickly. Withers along with Roosevelt Wheeler for Louisville. Burns gets it stripped. On the deck, Roosevelt Wheeler able to come up with it. Ellis now runs. Ellis foul.
Well, that is the first time they've elected to trap Burns, and it was a great trap. I thought he was going to get out of it, but no.
Fouls on Smith. Free throws when we come back with NC State up 4. Morsell and DJ Burns Jr. so far tonight for NC State as they lead by 4.
Well, the interesting thing, those are the only 2 guys for the Wolfpack who have scored more than 1 basket. Smith only has 1 basket. Joiner only has 1 basket, which is as many baskets as Ebenezer Dewana has.
Right. Clark's 0 for 3. Ross is 0 for 2.
And if you're Louisville and you end up losing this game, you're going to look back on this and you're going to see this as a missed opportunity. With Smith and Joiner just not really producing yet, you might have missed a bit of a chance to get a big lead here.
Ellis at the free throw line. He's got 5. Who else is going to kind of step up for this Louisville team? Is Mother Tasha looking on here? You know, he's the one that dominates, averaging over 17 points a game, but they're going to need help.
Well, Huntley-Hatfield is a guy who I think can produce on the inside. You know, we saw him operate pretty effectively against Clark earlier, but they haven't gone back to that. Now Louisville's gone to a little zone. 1-2-2 look.
Shot clock down to 6. Take away. Ellis behind the back. What a feed. James. Pretty play. 25 all here.
That's why you get back in the game. You get going with defense. And lots of times you play a zone because you're trying to cut down on the other guy's penetration.
First assist of the night for Ellis. They try to get it into Burns. Wheeler knocked it away for the moment. Also down there was Jalen Withers.
That's 2 bad passes trying to get it inside the zone.
Ellis. No, they're going to call a traveling violation. Going to get tripped.
Well, they can't make the pass inside, and Ellis looking the entire time. That's not a fancy pass. That's the only pass he can make in that situation. You know, it wasn't like a Harlem Globetrotters kind of pass because it wasn't perfect.
Right. But yeah, you're right. That was the angle that he needed to have, and he used it effectively.
But it was good enough. Here we're talking about North Carolina State maybe getting some runouts, but Louisville has gotten a couple of run-out opportunities.
They have.
Nice response. It looked like the momentum had shifted heavily in favor of North Carolina State.
It was a 9-0 run. Yep, and they've answered it. Missing on the shot. Clark on the rebound, and he had it for the moment. It got taken away after the initial shot from L.J. Thomas. Now Louisville's got a chance to go back in front with 2.5 to go in the first half. Well, they throw it away.
Boy, that's a missed opportunity because Joiner had a mismatch inside against Huntley-Hatfield, and Huntley-Hatfield was desperately calling for the ball, but they couldn't get it to him. Kevin Keats has to be unhappy. That's 8 turnovers now for the Pack.
Joiner. There's a backup for Clark, and now here's Thomas. Clark. Got it.
That's a really good job. Moving the ball around the perimeter, forcing the zone to react, and then passing it inside. You can't beat a zone just by passing around the outside. It has to go in, but that's the first really effective interior pass the Pack has made against that zone.
And it gives them a chance to set up that press here. And now Louisville. Another turnover. Offensive foul.
Well, Land's just got going too fast right there. Kenny Payne is up telling him you got to pass the ball earlier. The pass needs to be made when he gets to the free throw line, and it needs to be a jump stop. The deeper you go into that lane, the bigger the risk that you're going to get a charge call.
And that was Morsell, who had positioning there for NC State to take the charge.
And we mentioned Morsell. He's got the reputation as being an outstanding defensive player.
Joiner, some traffic, back to Clark for the 3 ball, and rebounded by Wheeler. Ellis works it in for Brandon Huntley-Hatfield. That's knocked around, and Burns has it. And here come the Wolfpack. Joiner on the run. Takes it in, too strong.
Pretty good defense getting back.
Ellis against Morsell. Morsell got a piece of it.
You can't play better defense than that.
Up to Thomas. He's got Burns. Thomas spinning. And we got a foul on Mike James for Louisville. That's his first.
Watch Morsell move his feet, plants his feet, then goes straight up in the air and gets the blocked shot. And they didn't get a basket here. Thomas really has to give this up. I think he lost control of the ball. You have to drop that back for Burns and you get an easy layup.
Hey, you said it about Morsell, though, right? He takes the charge. He holds his ground. He goes straight up, gets a block. He's knocked down 3 3-pointers. Very well-rounded game so far for him tonight.
Now, the key to that defensive play he just made was moving his feet and getting his feet established.
One more free throw for Thomas. ACC PM with Mark Packer, Trey Boston, and Taylor Tenenbaum. The latest from around the conference coming up tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern, and weekdays at 4 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app.
So now here's that pressure again, a little 1-2-2. And they're not really looking to steal the ball as much as they are to make Louisville run time off that shot clock. So they get it across. They haven't started their offense yet. They're at half court, and there's 15 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yep, you've said it, and it's gone down numerous times tonight. Late in the clock, Ellis kicks it to the far corner. Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, that's a big-time 3. It ties the game. 32 seconds remaining, 4-second differential shot clock, game clock.
That's a good shot, and he's not a great three-point shooter. He's got to be careful there. As he was running up the court, he had something to say to the NC State bench. You don't want to get a technical foul there.
Now, we've had a little bit of chippiness so far throughout this first half, multiple occasions. Here's Joiner for 3. That's good. Jarkel Joiner gets it right back for the Wolfpack. He's got 5.
Suddenly we have a little bit of flow to the game.
Ellis, 3 on the clock, takes it in. He's blocked by Burns, and that's going to end the half. We got a good one here tonight, Dan.
It's very interesting. Each team has done some really good things. It's a very interesting ball game.
NC State by 3 at the break. Morsell leads all scorers with 9 points, 31-28. Time out for the halftime report. Let's go to my man Dallin Cuff and Carlos. Turnovers. The second half is underway. Big game for both teams here tonight. third conference game. Both teams 0-2 to start. Louisville trying to get their legs underneath them. They've won 2 of the last 3. Inside Curry, and he scores for the Cardinals. He's got 7.
And that's what North Carolina State has been doing to Louisville. That time Louisville got the ball inside to Curry. They basically cleared the side. Curry went one-on-one.
Joiner gets the step on Ellis.
Joiner just has that explosive first step. He's got 7 points now. He and Smith were relatively quiet in the first half. Smith sat out the last couple of minutes with 2 fouls.
That combination has scored a total of 11 points so far. 4 of 13 from the field. Whistle and a foul as Withers took it in for Louisville.
DJ Burns trying to help the officials, suggesting that possibly that was a traveling violation. See, Burns is not going to jump up and help on that screen. And Withers really gets lucky right here because Morsell was standing right there and came very close to tying that ball up.
They called the foul on Morsell, who's got 2 now. Smith has 2 for NC State. At the line, Withers, he also has 2 personal fouls for Louisville. They got Curry also with 2. They picked him up early in that first half. 1 of 2 for Withers. We've got a 2-point game.
Actually, I think that Kevin Keats would rather have that foul be on Morsell in that situation than Burns.
Smith feeds it to a wide open Clark.
Again, Clark can make the 3, but he's not a high percentage 3-point shooter. And if you can get Smith to give up the ball and Clark to shoot a 3, then that's okay.
He had an opportunity to track his own rebound down right there. And he just kind of stood there. And Mike James got it for Louisville.
Well, maybe if your shooting percentage is 23% from 3, maybe you take that ball and you get closer to the basket.
Ellis working on Clark. Shot clock down to 5.
That's a great job by Clark.
James, that's a travel. And NC State's forced them into a couple of those tonight as well.
That's 10 turnovers now for Louisville. But that was all created by Clark at 6'8", moving his feet very effectively and preventing a very quick guard in Ellis to get around it. Clark has only scored 2 points tonight, but he's done a nice job on the boards, and that was a very good defensive play.
Smith trying to work by James for the Wolfpack. A little bit too strong on the runner. The tip, no. Again, and it's into the hands of Brandon Huntley-Hatfield. Ellis quickly on the run, and he's fouled.
But Joiner does a nice job getting back here. He's in good position. He gets called for the foul because he drops that arm down. If he just keeps both of his hands in the air, then that's not going to be a foul.
Talked to Ellis before the game here tonight. There's his family in the stands, 20 family members, friends here. There's his mom, Tasha, on the right, brother Manny. Said after basketball, whatever that is, of course, wants to get to the next level, of course, and wants to give back, coaching, mentoring, training. He's been around the game his whole life, and that's what he wants to continue to do. Here tonight, he has tied the game at 33 with a team-high 8 points.
Could be a rough go for North Carolina State unless this guy gets going, and that's how he gets going. I'm telling you, once that first one goes down, he can make 6 in a row.
Smith, 1 for 4 now from 3-point range, 7 points. 36-33. Back to Ellis.
Nice job by Burns.
Curry.
Boy, Burns didn't let Ellis get by, and that allowed Smith to recover.
Morsell from deep. And Burns gets the offensive rebound. Back to Smith for another 3-pointer. What did you just say?
You know, he'll miss a lot, but he is going to be undeterred.
This is the largest lead of the night by either team, 6 points.
Wow, this is where, if you're Louisville, you've got to be really tough here with the ball and get yourself a good shot. Shot clock running down again.
5 to shoot. Ellis is deep. He recognizes it, got it knocked out of his hands, taps it to Withers, and it's a traveling violation. He tried a little up fake, and the shot clock was inside 1 second, but he traveled anyhow and turned it over.
Well, Smith is a guy, you can be on him the whole game. You can really make things difficult for him, and he's going to make tough shots. That was relatively easy, and that the second one comes off an offensive rebound, and that is a real great opportunity for a three-point shooter. The defense has collapsed inside to try to get the rebound, and your guy throws it out to you. You have a wide open look.
He's been so special coming off that freshman record, 96 threes, an NC State freshman record last year. Now a nice pass inside the court, and a foul.
Where Curry was behind that play, he picks up his 3rd personal foul. You just got to let this one go. A really nice job by Smith. He's drawn a lot of attention. Curry's coming over to help. He's late. And if you're Curry, you just let this one go. Curry's going to have to leave the game now. He's got 3 fouls.
So that's big right there. But how about Smith and what he's also done to improve his game, the assist category, right? 67 last year, all of last year. He had 71 coming into the game here tonight, has 2, so 73 total. Nice feed inside, and it helps put NC State up 42-33.
He went through that NBA process, that draft process this summer, and they told him, you have to bulk up. We know you can score. You have to show you can set up your teammates. Now, you look at his legs, you don't think he's bulked up very much, but he's got a lot more muscle tone in those arms and shoulders than he did last year. So he's following their advice, and it's been really good for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, a lot of season left to continue how he can get his teammates involved. And losing the handle, Brandon Huntley-Hatfield out of bounds on the baseline. Takes us to our first time out of the second half, but NC State is on a run, a 9-0 run this year.
Well, Miami's been dynamite. Everybody talks about their backcourt, Wong and Pack, but Jordan Miller's had an outstanding season for them so far. In North Carolina, the Tar Heels are really good. They lost 4 games in a row, but now they're on a 4-game winning streak. In Virginia, after starting the season with 8 straight wins, they've lost 2 straight. Now, they haven't lost them to bad teams,
right,
but the Cavaliers have struggled offensively, and if they don't score effectively, then they are going to struggle.
Here's what happened Tuesday. You were at the Wake Forest game. You were doing that one on TV. I was doing the Syracuse Pitt game. It came down to be a pretty good game there at the end.
Well, Wake played very well, and Duke struggled a little bit. And again, we've talked about the Pitt Panthers before. They're one of the teams that has been a surprise so far here early in this ACC season. You know, it's funny, who before the season would have predicted that you'd have Clemson at 2-0 and Pitt at 2-0 and Miami at 3-0 on top of the conference.
Right. Pitt was up by 20 at one point against Syracuse on Tuesday, and they held on to win it. Here's a turnover, and Bird's just going to be called with a foul as Hersey Miller just took it right into him.
Well, Burns just couldn't catch up. Now, he tried, and that's 2 fouls on Burns. You know, again, he's out there smiling. He's got such a great disposition. He's a competitor. It's not like he doesn't compete really hard, but he just enjoys what he's doing. He just couldn't catch Miller.
Big asset to this NC State team, no doubt. Miller at the line. Cardinals 7 for 11 now at the stripe.
Well, Louisville, they've been to the line in this half, and which is why they've only got 2 field goal attempts. But so far in this half, they have 1 basket against 3 turnovers. Now, that's not going to count as a turnover, but that's like a turnover.
Empty possession there. Morsell got the rebound. Here are the Wolfpack. Smith. He's hit 2 threes in a row.
Back to the zone and the trap.
Clark finds Joiner wide open for 3. Clark tips it back. Smith for the 3 ball. Looks good.
That's the 2nd time in a row off an offensive rebound. He's been all alone for a 3. That is a great tap back by Clark.
You and I had the best look at it right in front of us. Good rotation. He nailed it, and now a foul is called on Joiner. That's going to be the 3rd on Jarkel Joiner for NC State.
They just, staff just told Kevin Keats that that's 3 fouls on Joiner.
And he's got L.J. Thomas up off the bench. Going to check in for him at the next whistle. Brandon Huntley-Hatfield. Knocked out. It's off his leg.
You know, I'm telling you, you get there at the top of the key and you see Burns in front. You think, okay, I'm just going to dribble past him. But you can't. Even at his size, he moves his feet very well. He did a nice job staying between Huntley-Hatfield and the basket. Got a little help from his teammates, and the result is a turnover. And a big grin. But the big grin is a constant thing.
That's huge. You still got it right now. Smart player defensively, too. Also stays on the floor, too. You know, you can't really get him too much on the fakes.
I don't think he gets off the floor very high.
You're right. Here he is on the offensive end.
And that ball goes up there so softly, you think it's coming off, but it doesn't.
This game was tied at 33, and it's now a 14-point lead for NC State. The run continues over the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Scoring drought of 3:45 and ticking for the Cardinals. Up fake. Shot clock. And here is Clark.
Now NC State's going to push it.
Morsell. That's a three. And it's starting to get away from Louisville. Timeout. Kenny Payne. Eight of 19 from three-point range are the Wolfpack. And Morsell, 4 of 5 from beyond the arc. The lead.
Well, NC State struggled to shoot the three in the first half. They're 4 for 7 here in the second half. Smith has 3 of them. A couple of them coming on after offensive rebounds, and Casey Morsell, he's continued his hot streak. And who passed him that ball? It was Smith. Smith, you know, even though he's hot, he's not looking solely for his shot. He made a nice cross-court pass, set up his teammate. Look at this. The shooting plays a big factor in basketball, folks. And they started the game very slowly, but since they've been very, very hot at the pack.
Well, it's kind of contagious, too, right? Because you got Morsell, who was hot to begin the game from three-point land. And then all of a sudden, as you said, Smith got into the act. And then Morsell hit it again. I mean, it was a nip-and-tuck game. No one had led by more than 5 points. We had 4 ties. And then all of a sudden here, it's been a 17-0 run by NC State. Ellis. No. Foul is called. It's on Smith. That's his 3rd.
And that, again, that's a foul that's created. Smith is in great position. If he just controls his hands, he's right there, and he drops that arm. If he doesn't drop that arm, it's not going to be a foul. You just move your feet, keep your body in front of a player, force him to take a tough shot. Don't bail him out fouling him.
Maybe a little bit of a push-off, though, there, too, as well from Ellis, but he hits the first free throw. Finally, they get back on the scoreboard. Next Friday afternoon, college basketball triple header for you, and it's going to begin with North Carolina, who we've been talking about. They've won 4 in a row, and Pittsburgh is 2-0 in the ACC after that win against Syracuse on Tuesday. Coming up Friday, December 30th, we'll have it for you here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Should be a really good one there at the Peterson Event Center. You were talking about it. Jeff Capel really starting to get things going for Pittsburgh this season, and we'll see what happens in that one.
Well, it'll be interesting. Armando Bacot is playing very, very well all of a sudden. Not that he has been playing poorly, but he's playing really well for North Carolina. He will be a matchup problem for the Panthers, but then again, he's a matchup problem for everybody.
Clark. Morsell. He was spotting up. He was ready.
Not only was he ready, Mike, but that was a great pass, a cross-court pass that dropped right into his shooting pocket. He didn't have to drop down to get it and change his position.
That's just great team basketball by NC State, recognizing where your guys are, your shooters, your hot hand. 5 of 6 from three-point range is Morsell.
Well, Morsell that time, they're scrambling around on defense, putting great pressure on Louisville. Now Morsell picks up his 3rd personal foul. So, I mean, we've got 12 minutes and 40 seconds left in this game. Joiner has 3 fouls. Smith has 3 fouls. Morsell has 3 fouls.
Could become a factor. Never know, but it's a sizable lead now for NC State. They've built up enough goodwill here with 12:40 remaining. The defense has been strong. Ellis fighting for it to try to keep it. Want to get a timeout, but he didn't have the ball. And now Smith's got it. He's fouled. that doesn't count. This crowd has been energized here tonight from PNC Arena.
Boy, NC State, they've really ratcheted up the intensity on this pressure. Nice job by Thomas. He stops Ellis and then gets the ball. Ellis trying to call the timeout, as you mentioned, but he didn't have the basketball.
Mike James with his second personal foul for Louisville. Smith getting inside. There's another foul. JJ Traynor.
That's just, that foul is caused by good ball movement and good player movement. And Smith just really finding Duana on the inside and forcing Traynor to come over the back.
This Wolfpack team has a lot of weapons, and they're confident with each other's ability out there.
Well, I think the emergence of Burns after the injury has really has made this a different team. Now, they're going to be really happy when they get Mohorčić back in the middle of January, but Burns is a guy who really gives them some stuff on the inside, and I think makes that outside game even better.
Kick to the corner. It's a three. Thomas. He follows his own shot. And a block inside. Devin Reed that time for Louisville.
Well, there's a lot of red shirts. Maybe he could have found a teammate.
What about trying to get this guy back involved against Sid Curry? And he's got it with a foul. So he has been quiet for quite some time here.
Well, he's been quiet because he's been on the bench. He's been in foul trouble. But again, this is a situation, they take the help away. There's nobody to help Duana, and Curry's big and strong. Nice spin move past Duana. Curry, they list him at 270 pounds. He's probably bigger than that.
Looking for his 10th point of the night, and he's got it. 7th team foul committed by NC State here, so it'll be free throws the rest of the way if you're Louisville. And at the line, though, tonight, they're 10 of 15. Smith, another kick, and it's Clark. He's wide open, and he drains it for three.
Well, we've been talking about he doesn't have not a very high percentage three-point shooter, but he made that one. He's got 8 now. He's made some big contributions tonight.
And it's 4 different players for NC State that have knocked down three-pointers in this game. 6 different players have taken a three. And now spinning into the lane is James, and he lost it. Morsell's got it.
I think Duana got a hand on that ball.
NC State has hit 5 of their last 7 from the field. Clark again wide open.
Well, he made the last one, but again, he's a 23% three-point shooter.
You got to put that up when you got that.
Well,
one.
yes, you do. You just made one. You have to put it up. Your team's way ahead.
9 minutes gone by, second half. Ellis, he puts up the three. Oh, nice offensive rebound. Brandon Huntley-Hatfield count the basket, and he was fouled. And he'll shoot the free throw when we return. 10:59 to play in the contest, but NC State knocking down the three balls. Clark, the latest to get into the act. They are 10 from 23. Back in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's take a look at the standings here. Top 8 right now in the ACC in the early going.
Well, the interesting thing is, we talked about the fact that it's Miami, Clemson, and Pitt up at the top. How about Florida State? They're 2-1 in the Atlantic Coast Conference. North Carolina State, of course, is 0-2. But again, it's very early, and what you're trying to do is get on a little bit of a roll here. Everybody except Louisville, from now on, it's strictly ACC play. Louisville's got Kentucky coming up, but this is where, you know, you get going. Louisville 0-2, and Wake Forest with a big win the other night. And the Wolfpack, they've lost 2. We mentioned they felt they didn't play well against Pitt, but Pitt's much improved, and they felt like they let one maybe slip away against Miami. But Miami's awfully good. It's easy to let one slip away against them.
I was just going to say, they are very, very good. And here Louisville has left some points at the free throw line, 10 of 16 tonight. Brandon Huntley-Hatfield with 9 points. He's got a game-high 8 rebounds.
And Louisville's been to the line in the second half, and so that's hurt them, along with the fact that in this half, North Carolina State has 4 offensive rebounds, and they forced 6 turnovers. So that's 10 extra possessions for the Wolfpack, and for the most part, they've converted them.
Almost another 3 by Clark. Bounce it into Mike James. Gets by Smith.
And Smith has 3 fouls. That's a smart move by Smith to just back off. He's much more important to his team than those 2 points.
Now it's got to come down to the defensive end here for Louisville. Have to get stops and back-to-back to try to get back in this thing. 14-point deficit.
Well, Louisville's defense was pretty good early in the game. We showed you NC State started out 5 for 20, and a lot of that had to do with some really aggressive defensive play by the Cards.
They've got 5 blocks in this game. Shot clock is down to 5. Here's Burns. Can he bail him out? 2 to shoot. Joiner. No. But Clark tips it back to Burns. And Burns lost the handle out of bounds off of Louisville.
Well, again, an offensive rebound. That's just what we're talking about. That's 5 offensive rebounds in this half for North Carolina State.
12 for the game. 12 to 6. Offensive rebounding advantage in favor of the Wolfpack. And there's the box out. Good job by Sidney Curry.
Smith's better be careful going in there against Curry. He could get himself hurt.
Ellis spins back into a roadblock. Here's Curry working on Burns. There it is.
Well, again, I continue to be impressed with the way Burns moves his feet, but Curry does a nice job finding the open area, and then Burns can't get back to him.
Curry with the team high 12 points for Louisville on 5 of 7 from the field. They're trying to claw their way back. They're within 12. Burns in the high post. Over Curry, no. And it's rebounded by the Cardinals. There you go. Here's a couple of strings back to back here on the defensive end.
Good job. Good job by Curry.
Now Ellis.
Mismatch inside. Joiner's trying to guard Huntley-Hatfield. Huntley-Hatfield's got to get down on the block.
Gets it inside to James. James a little turnaround off the window. 10-point game. Does NC State want a timeout here? Let's see.
Well, Mike James is taking Smith down on the inside. It's an 8-0 run now for the Cards. And yes, they're going to take timeout.
And so Kevin Keats and company will talk it over here. The lead is down to 10. 8:22 still remaining in the contest. As Louisville's on an 8-0 run, how have they done it, Dan?
Well, and I think this foul trouble is an important part of it. NC State has backed off a little bit on the defensive pressure because of the foul problems. And Casey Morsell with 4 fouls, that's a really important number. He's got 15 points and 6 rebounds in the game. He's been absolutely crucial for Kevin Keats and his guys tonight.
He leads all scorers in this contest with a 15, as you mentioned. Now let's see what happens here on this possession. Joiner. Clark, Smith, Burns, and Thomas, the 5 on the floor for the Wolfpack. Into Burns. Shot clock inside 10. Burns against Curry. That's been the matchup all night. He's got it. Oh, what a tough fadeaway off the window. And 12 points tonight for the big guy, Burns.
You just can't keep him out of there. And he's trying to go to that left hand. And you know he's going to that left hand, but you can't stop it.
Ellis thought about the 3. The mid-lane runner not there. And Burns cleans it up.
Really good outlet pass by Burns. NC State's going to slow it down, but they had the opportunity to get down the court. 6
rebounds for Burns tonight. Ties his teammate Morsell for the team high. Oh, inside Clark. Blocked and fouled.
Just the old, that's just old style basketball right there. You give and go. So we talked about Burns and his ability to worm his way, wiggle around there in the post. That's a perfect example. And then we talked about what a good passer is. Catches the ball, Clark cuts to the basket, he finds him in there, and he draws the foul.
2 excellent plays right there, highlighting his game as you just described. Brandon Huntley-Hatfield with a foul, his first. Here's Burns' numbers tonight.
So he's so effective, 6 for 8. He just doesn't take bad shots on the inside. And again, he is definitely a below the rim kind of player, but he's really effective.
Early on, how do you think he's going to match up against some of the other teams in the ACC as conference play moves along and into the new year?
I think he'll match up very well. You know, it's going to be, even if you've got tremendous quickness and agility on the inside, he has shown me tonight that he can move pretty well. You know, obviously he's going to have struggles. Everybody does, but I'm really impressed with him.
Ellis goes up against Burns, and Burns going to be called with a foul.
Well, now Burns kept Ellis away from the basket. He stayed between Ellis and the basket. But Ellis get down in there, and I'm telling you, that's like bouncing off a wall. But that's 3 fouls on Burns. Watch Burns move his feet. Moves his feet. He moves into Ellis. If he just kept moving laterally, he would have been fine. But at the last minute, he moves into Ellis, and that was the foul.
Ellis has one more. He's got 11 points. Coming up Christmas morning, 7 a.m. Eastern. Holiday special of all ACC right here on the ACC network on the ESPN app. Ellis knocks down both shots, and we've got a 12-point game with an even 7 minutes remaining tonight from PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina.
And 7 minutes is a lot of time, particularly with the foul trouble facing North Carolina State. You don't want to get conservative here if you're the Wolfpack.
Burns against Curry. What do we got here? Cut the basket and a foul. Curry picks up the foul, his 4th.
You know, he doesn't usually go into the lane from that side. If he's on the other side of the lane and he's trying to go to his left hand, and Curry plays him as if he's going to go back into the lane, that's just a really nice job. Curry pushing him in there and finally gets called for. But what a great job by Burns to keep his pivot foot and keep his balance.
I was just going to say, just so in control of his body right there, and not a bunch of wild moves. I mean, and he's got that little fadeaway able to go down too. He's 6'9", 275. Played ball at Winthrop before coming here now to NC State. And as he tried to get in front of Curry, who misses the jam. It goes out of bounds. And Kenny Payne not having it. He's
going to get a technical if he's not careful.
Yeah, Danny Manning's going to try to contain him, but it's too late. Technical foul on Louisville head coach Kenny Payne.
I think what he was upset about is they gave that ball to North Carolina State, and he felt like Burns got a hand on it on the blocked shot.
Let's go back to it.
This is a really good pass up ahead, but look how Burns recovers. Burns never touched that ball.
He just clanged it off the rim, and it careened out of bounds. Here we go again.
I don't think Burns ever touches this.
Or is he upset he want a foul? You know, one or the other, but either way, it's...
Again, Burns is not going to like rise up and swat that one away. What did Burns? Maybe you could get a small phone book underneath him there.
You had mentioned that earlier. You said, well... Smith to the hole. That doesn't go, and Brandon Huntley-Hatfield has it.
Still a lot of time left.
Ellis. That's a travel.
Ellis is trying to do too much right now. That's 16 turnovers for Louisville.
It's his 4th turnover of the night, and
he's just trying to make it happen.
I agree with you. I mean, but it goes back to the point of you got to get someone else out there who's going to be able to kind of step up and be a scorer. I mean, Curry has 12 points out. Look at that. Alley-oop.
What a pass. What a pass. I don't even know how he saw that.
Smith throwing it up top.
Got 5 assists now.
Curry. It's inside for Louisville.
That's a nice job, but Burns has some fouls. You need to go at it.
It's asking so much of this Cardinals team, night in and night out, it seems. Over the last 3 games, they've won 2 of the last 3, but they have to come back from these lofty double-digit deficits. Ellis, count it. And the foul. That'll help.
See, Ellis feels like he's got to make that kind of a play. And that was an outstanding play, but if you're going to make that kind of a play, then sometimes you're going to turn it over, and that's been part of his problem. This is really a heck of a pass. But Ellis, this is what Ellis can do. He is so quick. He is so fast with the basketball. This is a great spin. I mean, he's got Clark falling down. I mean, Clark, he got the foul called on him, and you know, you want to get your money's worth on a foul, but Clark just stumbled into him because he was falling down.
He converts a three-point play for 15 points tonight. The senior from Durham, right up the road. Playing in front of a lot of family and friends here now, and Louisville trying to make the comeback. James got it.
And a foul.
And a foul, yes.
So Thomas, if you're going to challenge that play, challenge it. Make sure the guy doesn't get the ball up on the board. And if you're not going to challenge it, just get out of the way.
That's his second foul.
So Thomas throws the ball away. Nice recovery by Huntley-Hatfield. And this, now if you're Thomas, you just get out of the way.
Right, I mean, there's a 4-on-1.
Yeah, it's... You know, I have to say, Louisville has had every chance in this game to quit, and they simply haven't done it.
Free throws, though, they've left 7 on the board, 13-20. And it's an 11-point game. Another nice feed. Burns avoids the pressure, then he gets hit, he scores it.
Well, he's got to avoid the pressure because he's not going to go up and dunk it. And so he's got to let the guys fly by so he can shoot a layup. This is really a good pass. You notice he lets them fly by, and then up he goes.
We're going to have a vertical jump contest between you and DJ Burns.
Well, I tell you, DJ Burns is going to win.
Oh, okay. Now he's able to get some ups.
Well, I have absolute. I'm subterranean. I have downs. Okay. So, 10-second violation. And there wasn't that much pressure. They just were too slow. Well, you climb back in, and you climb back in, you fight your way, and then, you know, you turn it over, you get a 10-second violation.
17 turnovers. It's what's plagued Louisville this season. Burns had a season high 18 versus Vanderbilt. He's got 17 tonight. Cardinals ripped this one away as James has it. Still time here. 4:20 remaining. 13-point deficit.
That's a good place to go with the ball.
Yeah, Curry. Up and under. Well, they've had a few and ones here. Almost got this one again. He's going to be fouled. And
that's Burns. Or did they? No, or did they call that on Morsell? No, they called it on Thomas. Boy, that's a break. That's 3 on Thomas, but it's not 4 on Burns. It's not 5 on Morsell.
Hey, if they can extend this game a little bit, you know, I mean, we got 4 players with 3 fouls for NC State. Morsell's got 4. Crowd doing their best to distract, and
the reason they're doing their best to distract is they have a promotion here. If an opposing player in the last 8 minutes of the game misses 2 consecutive free throws, then everybody in the place gets a biscuit from Bojan.
No, it's a chicken biscuit from Chick-fil-A, and that's going to be the case as he misses the second free throw.
Chicken.
So the fans are fired up.
You know, it's nice to win, but they want that biscuit.
Right. Landis for 3. No, that's tipped out of bounds by Mike James of Louisville.
That's a ridiculous promotion.
It's happened both times I've been here, so the fans going nuts. 13-point lead for NC State. We'll be back.
Auto owners, insure.
Welcome back. Here's a look at what the Wolfpack Stars have done here tonight.
Right, Casey Morsell is the guy who put up the big numbers in the first half. DJ Burns has been consistent throughout the game. It was he and Morsell that kept him in the game in the first half. And then Terquavion Smith has gotten rolling here in the second. And don't forget about Jack Clark. Jack Clark has 12 points. He's got 6 rebounds. He's got 6 assists.
This was a 31-28 game at the half in favor of NC State. We were tied at 33, and then it was just a monster run that the Wolfpack went on. They went up 50-33. It was a 17-0 run. That has put Louisville at bay, and they've been struggling to try to come back here and cut it into single digits as Morsell puts up another big 3. If he gets it, no. Rebound, Louisville, and Fabio Basili, who's in, the freshman from Orlando, Florida. Three-point shooting first half for NC State, 4 of 12. Second half now, 6 of 14.
You can't afford to fool around here. You got to get going. You got to get things done quickly.
Ellis bounces it in. James on Smith. James got it.
That's really good to get him down low. He's got 10 points now. And, you know, Smith doesn't want to foul him to get that isolation down in the low post. James can be a very effective post-up guy.
What are you thinking here in this offensive set?
Well, what they're going to have to do, you avoid the trap, and obviously they want to run some time, but you don't want to get conservative. And a lot of times in these games, once you take your foot off the gas, it's hard to get the car re-engaged again.
Vasily with a foul for Louisville. That is now the 17th foul. So 1-1 here for Jarkel Joiner.
On defense, if you're Louisville, you got to do something to speed up North Carolina State, but that's going to be hard with the backcourt that the Wolfpack possesses. Now you got to move.
Ellis trying to create. A little too strong. And it went right into the hands of Clark.
Clark is always around the ball, rebounding. NC State content to just run as much time as possible. Sure. Kevin Keats telling Smith, go back. Not yet.
10 to shoot, 2:15 to play in the game. Lead is 11. Joiner takes it in strong. Oh, man.
What a play that was. See, it's awfully hard. They run the clock down. They got a lot of guys who can create something at the end of the shot clock.
That's a big one right there. Brandon Huntley-Hatfield hands off for Curry. Under 2 minutes to go. Got it knocked away by Burns. Got it back. Back to Huntley-Hatfield. Strip and a foul. It's going to be on Morsell, and that's going to be it for him. He has fouled out.
Boy, Joiner so fast, and what body control. I mean, Curry hit him,
right,
or he hit Curry, and is still able to do it, and then Morsell just reaching in.
What a shooting night, though, for Morsell. Has possibly done enough to will NC State to victory in this one with 15 points, 5 of 9 from the field, but 5 of 7 from three-point range.
Well, all of his field goals, all of his points came from beyond the arc.
Yep. Second leading scorer tonight behind his teammate Burns, who has 17 to lead all scores.
But Morsell is another guy. He also had 6 rebounds. He had a steal as well.
You know, you had mentioned this earlier about these guys like Morsell, who's the team's best defender. He's worked hard on his jump shot. He shoots the three-pointer well. He does a lot of other things to help this team, as you saw tonight. A guy like Smith, who's worked on his assist game and his teammates involved. Everybody seems to try to improve and refine their game a little bit here. This is how far NC State's going to go this year.
This is a team, you just look at them, you watch them play. They seem to enjoy one another. They seem to enjoy playing together. And, you know, it's a long season. They started out 0-2. They've got a lot of tough games. Obviously, as they get through here to the end of the year and then in January and February, you just never know how things are going to go. But this is a group of guys that looks like they're going to enjoy doing it.
Vasily with a second foul for Louisville. This guy is so fun to watch. Smith, Terquavion Smith. Can't hit the front half of the 1-1. Brandon Huntley-Hatfield. Up for Percy Miller.
Neither team's bench has scored any points in the second half.
Curry got it.
Curry, you know, he's been playing very well. He's got 16 points in the game now.
Time, though, becoming a factor here with 1:25 remaining.
Well, we kept saying there's a lot of time. Well, there's not a lot of time.
Elliot Clark. Yeah, he's fouled hard by Curry. And that's going to be it.
Curry's going to be done.
Yeah, Sid Curry tonight. You know, and he has worked so hard on his game, too. And especially over the last couple of weeks, he's lost 10 pounds, starting to eat much better, getting his body in better game shape. And, you know, Coach Kenny Payne told us, and he's been on him, and he calls him every night at 1:30 in the morning just to say, you're sticking with it, right? Just keep on it for me.
Well, now, if my coach called me at 1:30 in the morning, I asked him what the heck he's doing.
Well, coach is still up. I asked him that. So Kenny Payne,
well, I wouldn't be up.
He's still up. Right. He said it's one of his last calls of the night. And then I asked Curry, I'm like, well, are you sleeping? And sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. But he's like, no, I'm happy. I'm happy to get the call.
Well, the interesting thing about that whole story is Kenny Payne didn't go to Curry and say, hey, you need to lose weight. Curry went to Kenny Payne and said, Coach, I'm really struggling. What do I need to do? And Kenny Payne told him, well, I think you need to lose some weight. Are you willing to go on a diet? And he was.
And it's worked out. We've seen some amazing fans across the ACC. We need your help this winter. ACC Network wants to experience each sport from your perspective. Snap a pic, tag a video. Take a video and tag it with the hashtag #AllTheDevotion and post it to your social media. You just might see it on the ACC Network.
So now the Wolfpack is going to show some pressure, and this is just to try to force Louisville to run some time off the clock. They barely got it over again.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. I mean, why let him just walk it up, right? Here's an inside play for Brandon Huntley-Hatfield. He's got 12.
He's got a double-double now because he's got 11 rebounds as well.
Solid night for him. But it was that run by NC State in this second half, a 17-0 run that put it out of reach for Louisville. Fighting and clawing their way back into it, but doesn't look like it's going to be enough tonight.
And the interesting thing about that 17-0 run to me is it was keyed by Terquavion Smith. He hit a couple of threes. He hit that first and we said, look out, he can make a couple, and he made two more in a row, and that sort of got the ball rolling for North Carolina State. And, for Louisville, the Cardinals, I thought, played very aggressively. I thought that they were right in the game, but once that snowball started down the hill, it was just very hard to stop. Curry on the bench with 5 fouls. We mentioned he had 16 points. A game effort by Louisville. They just didn't have enough.
Burns gets a nice ovation from the fans here tonight as Joiner hits the free throw. All 5 starters in double figures. How about that? You had Burns leading the way with 17, Morsell 15, 14 for Joiner and Clark, and Clark and Smith with 14, Joiner with 11.
Well, this is a dynamic backcourt. Burns really gives him something on the inside.
Inside bucket scored by Hersey Miller for Louisville. It's a 10-point game with just 28.8 remaining. And it's big for NC State, as you were talking about at the start of the broadcast, and there's going to be a foul here on James coming up the floor. They have played well this year. I mean, they're 10-3. You just didn't want to start 0-3 in conference play, right? It just kind of looks.
Well, and this game was more important than that because NC State, they won 10 of their 11 non-conference games. The games they lost were to Pitt and to Miami, that are both their decent net teams. NC State is number 42 in the net today. And the problem with a game like this is NC State, their net is going to drop after this win because Louisville is like 340 something.
Right.
And so this is a game that would have been a disaster for North Carolina State to lose. You just can't lose to a team at home with the net that bad. And you look here, there's Pitt at 70 in the net and Clemson up to 78. So that's a pretty good representation for the Atlantic Coast Conference in the top 100 of the net. But this is a game, and everybody who plays Louisville is going to be in this situation because of the Cardinals' struggles. Their net is like 344. You just can't, if you have any NCAA tournament hopes, you can't lose that. That's a quad 4 loss.
Well, and part of that, too, is how much you win by as well, and what you're expected, to win by in certain games, too. So that affects that number also. Jumper on the way from Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, no good. NC State gonna run it out. And the Wolfpack, as the fans of PNC Arena rise to their feet, they win it by 12 tonight. 76-64 over Louisville as Coach Keats and Payne shake hands, and NC State improves their record to 11-3 and 1-2 in the conference. Louisville drops to 2-11.
Really impressive performance, I thought, by North Carolina State. They went on that big run because they made some big shots. And this guy, Burns, how can he not be a crowd favorite?
No doubt about it. Good to see you again, Dan. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Mike.